Hi friends, I'm here with another yoga offering. We're going to do a practice today, and as always, please work with the body you have, just like it is, however it's doing right now. So I'll offer a bunch of stuff that may or may not work for you, and you're welcome to skip things, change things, move at a different pace, do what feels right for you moment by moment. Let's start sitting. If you have something to sit up on, you might grab a blanket or cushion. And come into a comfortable cross-legged position. And we'll begin with eyes closed. Letting your attention drop all the way down to the base of your pose, feeling what's touching the floor or your props. From that grounded base, lengthen up through the top of your head. And without losing any of that length, just take a scan through your body. Is there anything to let go of? Could you be here with even less effort? And anytime you notice that your mind has wandered onto other things, just as soon as you notice, see if you can come back in with curiosity. What are you noticing right now? Can you feel where your body touches the floor? Can you feel that you're breathing? How the movement of your breath might affect the pose you're in right now. You can let your eyes open, keeping a soft focus. And feel free to open and close your eyes as it's useful for you. So let's start with eagle arms. We're going to bring one elbow on top of the other. If you can, bring the palms together. If that's too much, you might just grab a thumb or focus on the elbows. And if none of that works, you can interlace fingers in front and put some pressure between them. All of these will get a nice opening in the upper back, getting between the shoulder blades. And you might move around within the pose. Or just let your attention travel through your body, seeing what there is to notice here. Notice which elbow is on top, or if you're interlacing fingers, which thumb is on top. And then take a gentle swing. And then bring the other arm on top. Pressure between the arms as if you're pulling them apart to spread between the shoulder blades, spread the rib cage. And then release, couple gentle swings. Let's bring hands to the floor behind us, fingers facing forward, roll your shoulders back, your elbows back. Lift the chest, take the chest as high as you can, sternum rising up. A little bit higher last moment. And then release. Come up, hands to knees, round back, lean away from your hands on your knees, drop your chin. And then roll your way back up, and let's recross the legs so the other leg is in front or on top. Sitting tall, drop your right ear over to right shoulder, and press down through the left shoulder, stretching left side of the neck. Let's rotate chin to chest and come over to the other side. Both shoulders drop, but now a little bit more through the left shoulder, right shoulder, looking for a stretch on the right side of the neck. Let's rotate chin to chest. Come back to the first side and then go back and forth a few times. Half circles or 3/4 circles, watching the sensation move from one side over to the other. Next time your chin is to your chest, stay there. Interlace your fingers behind your head and let your elbows hang down, stretching the back of your neck. Let's release the arms, head floats back up. Bring hands to the floor behind us. Again, shoulders roll back, elbows roll back. Puff up the chest, take it as high as you can. And release, come up, hands to knees, round back. Lean away from your hands on your knees, drop your chin. And then roll your way up, still holding the knees, pull the chest through, come to an upper back arch, but keep the back of the neck nice and long. And then we'll round back and bring the feet to the floor and bring hands behind the legs. I'll just turn so it's easier to see. You can put a little pressure up on the backs of the knees, sinking back through the belly, back through the chest. And then roll up from the base of the spine all the way up, arching back, but also leaning back so abdominals are working. And we'll do a few back and forths here. Exhale, round. Inhale, roll up and arch. Exhale, back. Inhale up. Exhale, back. Inhale up. Now exhale back, release the arms and come down a little lower. Inhale, same arch, but bring your arms by your ears. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Now inhale up, we'll hold this last one. Lifting as high as you can through the chest. You might lean back a little bit more, lift the arms a little more, but keep dropping the shoulders. Can you relax your face? And then release, round back. And you can decide how low you go, working where it's needed, but softening what's not needed. Let's release. Come all the way forward into a high push-up position. We'll set the hands near the front of the mat, shoulder width apart. Step the feet back. Coming into a straight, long line. Then let's let the hips pull us back into a downward facing dog. Lift your heels, tuck your tail, roll your way forward, unfurling into a high push-up. And let's go back and forth between these two positions. Exhale back, down dog. Inhale forward, high push-up. Exhale back. Inhale forward like a slow whip. Exhale back, down dog. Inhale forward. This time, exhale, lower down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale back to down dog. Let's do that a few times. Inhale forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Back to down dog. One more, forward. Lower down. Up dog or cobra. And back to down dog. Holding here in down dog. You might pedal out your feet a little bit or shift the hips side to side. And then drop the knees and sink back to child's pose. Get off the wrists for a moment. And just a reminder that you can rest anytime, whether you rest in this shape or a different one. When you come back to your rest, that could be a good place to check in on your breathing, slowing it down. Notice what you're paying attention to, and if it's something outside of what you're doing right now, letting that go. With arms out in front of you, walk your hands over to the left. Pull back through your right hip, stretching right side a little more. Come through center and over to the other side. Pull back through your left hip, stretching left side a bit more. Come back to center. Let's lift up through table. Come back through down dog. And walk your hands and feet towards one another, and let's hang in ragdoll. Feet hip width apart, parallel. You can bend your knees a little or a lot. Take any movement here, maybe a little jiggle, sway, shake out. Let's bend the knees a little more and slowly roll up. Coming all the way up to standing. And step up to the front of the mat. Come into your mountain pose, feet together or apart, hands together. Core in, supporting length through the back. Nice long spine. Slow, deep breath. Next inhale, sweep the arms high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen, part way up. Step or hop your feet back, lower down. Up dog or cobra. Back to down dog, and let's take 5 deep breaths. In down dog or any other neutral shapes. You might come back to child's pose. You could come to sitting on your knees, forearms. Coming back to a quality of presence and ease. One more deep breath here. Let's come back through down dog and step or hop your feet forward. Inhaling, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up to standing. Exhale, arms press down. Again, inhale, arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step or hop your feet back, lower down. Up dog or cobra. And back to down dog. This time from down dog, take your right leg up to the ceiling. Bend your knee to your chest and start circling this bent right knee. Making the biggest circle possible for your hip joint. Next time your leg is up, reach it straight. Circle your ankle a few times, big circles. As you do this, pull the hips up and back. Go in both directions. Take your leg a little higher and then a big step forward, high lunge. Inhale, arms up. Settle in, feel free to adjust your footing. Let's grab the left wrist and take it across for a little side bend. Come over to the other side, grab your right wrist, take it across. Back to center. Interlace fingers behind your back. Lift the chest. Hips sink low, heart lifts high. Release, arms up. Tip forward, standing splits. Hands to the floor or to a couple of blocks. We'll do this with hips square and with the upper body letting go like ragdoll. Keep stretching that back leg straighter, longer, higher without rolling open through the hip. Last breath here. Big step back. Warrior one. Inhale, arms up. Sink low. Deep bend in the front leg. Straight long back leg. One more breath. Release. Hands to the floor. Make your way back to down dog. You can transition in any way you like. Maybe a vinyasa. Maybe just stepping back. Maybe there's some other movement that helps you integrate what you've just done. Using your transitions to take good care of yourself. When you're ready, from down dog, take your left leg up. Bend your knee in and start circling. Next time your leg is up, reach it straight. Circle your ankle a few times, big circles, both directions. Take your leg a little higher and then a big step forward. High lunge. Arms up. Sink low. Grab your right wrist, take it across. Come over to the other side, grab your left wrist, take it across. Back to center. Interlace fingers behind your back, maybe the other thumb on top this time, though we don't normally cross. Open the chest, sink the hips. Release, arms up. Tip forward. Standing splits. Hands to the floor. We'll do a couple of blocks. We'll do this with hips square. Reach that back leg straighter, longer, higher. Last breath. Step back. Warrior one. %, effort, what's needed, what's useful. Stripping away what's not needed. Last breath here. Release, make your way back to down dog. Five deep breaths. Down dog, child's pose sitting, any neutral shape. If it's useful, you might close your eyes. Last breath here. Let's come back through down dog and step or hop your feet forward. Inhaling, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up to standing. Exhale, arms press down. Let's take just the right arm up as we inhale. Exhale over to a side bend. The left arm can provide a little support. Big yawning reach. Reach a little further out to come up and release down. Same thing, other side. Reach a little further out to come up and release down. Let's interlace fingers, press out through the palms. Take your arms up by your ears. Shoulders drop, but arms reach straight. And then rise up onto your toes for a little balance. So that could be just a slight lift of the heels, maybe coming all the way up. And then begin to fold forward, staying in balance on the toes. You can bring your hands to your legs wherever they meet. Might be the upper legs, could be lower. If you're able, you might even go for the ankles or heels. Wherever you are, breathing. Release. Drop the hands, drop the heels, drop your head. Let that go. Bend the knees and come into chair, Utkatasana. Feet can be together or apart. Just try and have the legs in line with one another. So feet and knees are equal distance, whether that's together or apart. Hips low, head high, shoulders low, fingers high. Last breath. Fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Step or hop back, lower down. Up dog or cobra. And back to down dog. Right leg sweeps up. Step forward, high lunge. Arms up. Warrior three. You're welcome to modify or adjust however you need to. Finding the outer shape that suits your needs. So use what you know, what you're feeling right now. One more breath. Step back. Warrior one, one breath. Release through your movement transition. Left leg sweeps up. Step forward, high lunge. Arms up. Warrior three. Squaring off shoulders, hips. Last breath. Step back, warrior one. Release through your movement transition. And settle into a good rest, letting go of everything we've just done, everything we might do. Last breath here. Let's come back through down dog and step or hop your feet forward. Inhaling, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, arms up. Inhale, chair. Exhale, straighten. Again, inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step or hop back, lower down. Up dog or cobra. Back to down dog. Right leg sweeps up. Step forward, high lunge. Arms up. Warrior three, one breath, come in. Step right back to warrior one. From here, let's take eagle arms. Right elbow on top of left. Lift the elbows, sink the hips. Feel that same pressure between the elbows as we had in the beginning of class, spreading the upper back, spreading the rib cage. And then shift your weight forward, come onto the toes of that back foot, and let's step into eagle, Garudasana. Knee on top of knee. Hips go low, head reaches high. One more breath. Unwind, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Feel free to grab a block for your bottom hand or bend your bottom leg or both, expanding from the center, past the tips of the fingers, past the top of the head. One more breath here. Release, hands to the floor. Let's take a short step back, pyramid pose. If you have blocks and they would be useful, feel free to grab them or other props around your house. If it's difficult to reach the floor, you can also use your hands on your shin or a little bend in the front leg. And we're just going in the direction of the pose. So for here, in the direction of hips square, draw that right hip back. In the direction of a flat back. It's okay if your back is rounded, just go towards flat. In the direction of folding, and your body will let you know where to stop. Listen to that. And then when you meet your edge, that's exactly where there is to breathe, to be, feeling this. Let's release. Make your way back to down dog. Left leg sweeps up. Step forward, high lunge. Arms up. Warrior three, one breath. Step back, warrior one. Let's take eagle arms, left elbow on top. Upper back arch, spreading, lengthening the lower back. Shift your weight forward, come onto the toes of that back foot. Step into eagle, Garudasana, knee on top of knee. Squeeze the legs in towards one another. Strong pose here. Unwind. Half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Modify however you need to. Last breath here. Release, hands to the floor. Take a short step back, pyramid pose. You can adjust your footing until it feels right for you. You might grab blocks or props for your hands. Going in the directions you know to go in. And then the real work, the big work, is allowing it to be as it is. And there may be some part of your mind that has a lot to say about it. It would be better if ... But the truth is, my truth, the thing that I believe, is that if you are doing your best, given what you understand and are capable of doing, how could it be otherwise? How should it be other than this? Exactly like this, however it is. And then the work is that we get to grow in acceptance of ourselves, not just when it feels good, looks good, familiar, the way we like it to be, but in the whole full range of being human in this body with all its limits and foibles and imbalances. So this practice isn't meant to make us perfect or change us, but to show us all the parts, and then we get to practice being with them, loving them as they are and as they aren't. Not always easy. Let's release. Make your way back to down dog. Settle into a good rest, letting go of all of that. Come back through down dog and step or hop your feet forward, inhaling flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, arms up, inhale, chair. Exhale, straighten. Again, inhale, chair. From here, let's bring the left elbow across for a twist. Get it all the way over as far as you can. If you can't get your elbow, you might use your forearm. If prayer twist doesn't work for you, you could extend the arms or try something else. As you are twisting, can you lengthen your spine? Can you breathe deeply? Can you let it be just like this? Back to center. Hips low, arms high. Same thing other side. Right elbow across. Work the palms towards the center of the chest, opening through that top shoulder. Come back to center. Hips low, arms high. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Lift the heart. Fold forward, wrapping arms overhead. And you can separate your feet, hip width apart or wider. If this is too tight for your shoulders, you could grab something and hold it between your hands. A strap, sock. Release the arms all the way down. Let's come into a squat malasana. If your heels don't easily come to the floor, you might turn your toes out or widen your stance, and you're welcome to modify this or adjust it so it works better for you. Sitting on a block can take a lot of the pressure off the knees or ankles, or sliding something under the heels for support. You can open up your knees using the elbows, and then roll the shoulders back and down. Try and open through the chest. We'll work our root lock here in Mula Bandha, same as a Kegel exercise. As you exhale, draw the pelvic floor muscles in and up. As you inhale, release that. Exhale, engage. Inhale, release. Exhale, engage. Inhale, release. And then engage and keep holding, keep breathing, drawing in strongly through the bottom and connecting that to the top, feeling the full length and space that you take up. Let's release. Come back to a forward fold, feet back to parallel. Any arm position you like here. So you could grab your big toes, you could grab your hair and pull your head towards the floor. Maybe give your neck and shoulders a little squeeze. Either stay hanging in a forward fold, or if you'd like to get a crow pose in, you could take a little step back from the front of the mat and try crow. Set the hands shoulder width apart, knees to the upper arms. Shift your weight forward, feeling what you're doing each moment. More weight in the hands, less weight in the feet. If the feet become weightless, you might lift them up. If they're not yet weightless, instead of lifting them, see if you can slow down. Feel where you are. Perhaps shift more weight forward. If you were in your hands, you can shift back to your feet. And let's try stand hand. One hand at a time, slides under the feet so the toes are up to the wrists. Toes pushing into the pads of the hands. In a moment, we'll make our way back to down dog. If you want to take a crow pose again, you're welcome to. You might work on hopping out of crow. You could also just step back or take a regular vinyasa to get back. Just feeling what you're choosing to do, whatever that is. From down dog, let's make our way to our knees. You could try hopping to your knees if you like. Gentle hop forward, coming up to a tall kneeling position. If you'd like to pad your knees, you could roll up the front of your mat a few times, or if you have a blanket or cushion, feel free to use that. And we'll take a camel pose. Pelvis neutral. Drop the tail a little bit so the lower back is nice and long. Hands to the top of the buttocks. Roll your shoulders back. Roll your elbows back. Lift the chest. Create space in the back rather than collapsing. You can stay here or reach back for the heels. If the heels are a little too far, tucking your toes will give you another couple of inches. If they're still too far, then keep your hands on your hips, or you could bring hands to blocks. Head can stay forward the whole time, or look up, or drop back. When the pose feels complete, release. Sit back to kneeling, couple breaths, neutral spine. You can stay resting or take another one. If you're taking another one, it can be same thing or a different variation. long or short as you like, feeling what you're doing. Using everything you've learned so far. Maybe this is the first time you've done this pose, but there are other poses you've done like this. Can you use what you know about your body to safely come into your full expression? When it feels complete, release. Let's come to child's pose. Spreading the back. A little extra shoulder stretch I sometimes like in child's poses to bend my elbows so fingers point straight up. Walk the elbows forward and in towards one another. And for extra added stretch, push into the fingertips to take the wrists apart. And then let the chest sink towards the floor. So there's going to be a nice opening on chest, upper back, shoulders. Let's release and make our way up to table, hands and knees. From here, we'll thread the needle, nice twist. Lift your left arm all the way up. Curl from fingertips down, thread it right behind the opposite wrist and keep going until you come down onto your shoulder and side of your head, and then you can push the right hand into the floor or into the bottom forearm, rolling open. There are lots of variations of this, so if there's something else you want to try, you are welcome. Using each pose as an opportunity to explore being in your body. How is it? Let's release, come up. Taking a moment to unwind. Same thing other side. When you're ready, right arm lifts up. Curl from fingertips down, thread it through. Come right behind your wrist, all the way down onto your shoulder and side of your head. And then push the left hand into the floor or into the bottom forearm. Let's release, come up. Take a few rolls through the spine, arching and curving on your own time. When you're ready, come back to down dog. Let's bring the right knee forward for pigeon pose, right side. Scoot the left leg back. Help the hips get as low as they'll go. Set up whatever support is useful. Something under the hips, something under the chest or forehead. So that same little shoulder opener we did in child's pose is something you could add into your pigeon as well. So inching elbows forward, fingertips point up, and then push into the fingertips, taking the wrists apart. Just a little extra added bonus if you like. If you don't like, you can take any other arm variation. Let's release. We'll come back up through down dog to switch sides. You're welcome to take a vinyasa or any other movement, maybe just pedaling out or wiggling around a bit. Left knee forward when you're ready, pigeon on the other side, adjusting the angle, adjusting props. Perhaps adding that extra shoulder opener, inching elbows forward. Instead of pushing into the fingertips, another option is to stick a block between your hands, kind of getting the forearms parallel. Let's release. Take your time making your way back to down dog. Evening out the two sides. Let's come all the way to sitting and back onto our backs. And I'm going to suggest a supported bridge. Now, if you don't have blocks, there are probably things around your house you could use instead. A couple of big books with a towel over it, foam roller, a bolster, a firm cushion, rolled up blanket, towel. We're going to put something under the sacrum. And you can experiment with how high or low it is, how hard or soft it is, using what you've got. Now you want this a little lower than the lower back. So instead of encouraging the arch in the lower back, we're kind of lengthening it out. And we'll take a hip flexor stretch from here. I love this pose. So hip flexors can get really tight, especially if you spend a lot of time sitting. So we're going to bring the right knee to the chest. Take it in as close as you can. You can hold with one hand, two hands, behind the leg, up around, even using a strap. And then straighten your other leg, the left leg, and let your straight left leg hang. So we're looking for an opening at the front of the left hip here. If you do spend a lot of time sitting, if you picture your body sitting, the hip flexors are contracted. And the body's clever. If you spend a lot of time in a certain position, it kind of forms to hold that position. So unless we do the opposite, this is going to be less available, this opening. And then tight hip flexors can affect the lower back. So if you have lower back pain, you might add this as a preventative stretch. Strengthening core, opening hip flexors are two keys to unlocking lower back pain. Let's switch sides, bring the left knee in, extend the right leg long. The more you hug your knee in, the more you let that straight right leg hang, the more of an opening there can be on the front of the right hip. When you feel even on the two sides, let's come to some neutral shape. So that could be knees to chest, it could be feet back on the floor, Or it could be legs straight, either up in the air or along the floor. And feel free to adjust the placement or height of your blocks or props. And we're going to come into something that's very close to passive. So some effort is required, but how little can you use? Wherever you are, stripping away, relaxing your belly. This is an inversion, a very gentle inversion. The hips are higher than the heart. If your legs are up, there's a nice reverse of gravity on the legs. Can you relax your fingers, your arms, shoulders, your jaw? And we're going to start getting ready for Shavasana. So you can stay where you are as long as you like. When you're done, you can move your props out of your way and just check in with your body. Is anything else needed? You want to take any last pose or stretch or do anything to feel complete in your practice? Feel free to take whatever time you need for that. Make yourself as comfortable as you can as you come into your final resting pose, which might mean some support under the thighs or knees, covering up in some way, self-massage, any part of your body that could use some help letting go. Eventually coming into stillness, eventually letting go of the control of your breath. Slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, gently waking your body up again. Let this movement increase gradually through your wrists and ankles, eventually stretching out through your arms and legs. When you're ready, bring your knees in. And then roll to one side, pausing there for a moment. Use your hands to help you up to sitting. Come into a comfortable cross-legged position. And bring hands together at the heart. Just taking a moment to silently thank yourself for your practice. You might let that gratitude expand out to the people and circumstances that make it possible for you to be here. And that could extend far and wide. Maybe even sending gratitude and well wishes to all beings everywhere. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Please feel free to reach out if you ever have requests for particular poses or types of classes, tutorials, talks, anything. Happy to create the content that's useful for you. Thanks for sharing this with others who may enjoy it and for supporting me in any way you're able. I'm accepting payments on Venmo, PayPal, Patreon, check in the mail, etc. And payment is not required. I'm very happy to be offering this content freely so that it goes to where it's needed. So thanks for practicing with me.